Hey everybody, it's me, Angel Benton, and it is time for another edition of Angel Sudsy Recap, where we delve into the world of daytime television and we do a few reality shows on the side. Excuse me, and one of the reality shows that we do is Dancing for Relevancy, aka Dancing with the Stars. So let's talk about this. Okay, so this past week, I just want to get right into it because I've been waiting for since Monday, so I'm gonna go into this. So the thing is this past week was most memorable year week, right? Now, you know I hate that theme. You know I really do, right? And it sort of brings to light how young everyone is when everyone's most favorite year is in the 2000s, right? That's okay. All right. Well, so here's how it broke down. Here are a few standout performances. Unfortunately, this week we had to say goodbye to Derek Fisher, who is the basketball guy. He was actually doing really good too. I don't know. I mean, honestly, I would have kept him on and let some other people go, but you know, that's the way the cookie crumbles. So, sayonara. I thought he did great though. I thought he did a really good job. And his most memorable year was sometime in the, I don't remember what the individual years are. I don't remember, so sorry. But they were all in the 2000s, right? And the way it was memorable to him was, he had a lot of challenges with his daughter and he had to leave. I want to say he had to leave the NBA because he had to take care of her. I think that's what happened. Anyways, it's unfortunate, but he did a great job with the dance, and then, they let him go. Okay, so right away, I just want to tell you about that because that was, that was the big, the big scoop for that week was that they're saying goodbye to Derek Fisher, right? Okay, so, okay, here are all the other ones. The ones that stood out to me, well, first of all, Frankie Muniz, because I would need to talk about him because last week we talked about, and I kind of, because I had seen this episode, I had a little bit in the back of my head, but in this week we found out that he doesn't remember any of him being on Malcolm in the Middle. Like, his long-term memory is pretty much fucking gone. And he said, I've crashed my car, because he was a race car driver. I've crashed my car. I have had lots of mini strokes, and he even said some medical term that the mini strokes are called. And he's like, so I don't know if that actually is the reason for my memory loss, but I cannot remember any of that stuff. So my favorite year is 2017. So that was very poignant, and I thought he did fucking great. I mean, really, if you think about it, he has done, for someone with zero long-term memory, he's doing great at this show. Like, really good, The judges were pleased too. I definitely think he's definitely a contender for the Mirror Ball, for sure. He's doing a really great job. Okay, so here's another one. Lindsay Sterling. Now, her most memorable year was when her father died. And she told the story, and it was here's the sad thing though, before we get into Lindsay Sterling. Unfortunately, it's kind of reached a point where everybody trots out their worst sob story for most memorable year, right? And I really think that's unfortunate, because it would be nice if your most memorable year was when something great happened. That would be great, And there were a couple that sort of did, and we'll talk about them in a second. But for the most part, everyone just brings out their, this is when, this is my sob story, basically. So, I know that a lot of people find that this is one of their favorite weeks and it's compelling television. I just don't agree. I'm sorry. I'd rather see Disney Night, which is next week. I'm really looking forward to that, actually. It'll be great. Disney Night, and what are some other good, Trio. I love Trio Night, Freestyle Night, I'm all about all that. Just, this most memorable year is I just think it's crap. But anyways, okay. So Lindsay Sterling was talking about when her father died, and she talked about how her dad always wore this one scarf, and this particular hat on his head. And he looked a little bit like when Tom Baker was the Doctor, right? I think he was the fourth Doctor, I think. Anyways, it was, so Mark did this dance wearing that scarf, this exact same scarf and hat that her father had. And Mark kind of looked a little bit like her dad, too, a little bit. It was a little bit scary, but they did so good. Like, she was, like, in tears before they even left the floor. Like, she was like, I can't, she was, you know, and everyone was just sobbing, crying, and it was just a beautiful dance, and it was just done so well. It was, and I got to give props to Mark Ballas because he really turned it up a notch with his creativity. And this is what I like about that. I like the fact that everyone is catching on that he is so creative when he comes up with these crazy routines, right? And rather than get away from that, he plays to that, and I think that's great because you need to play to your strengths, and that is definitely his strength. Now, he might not always get the highest scores from the judges, especially Len, because Len is a traditionalist, and Mark is the opposite of that. But I give him credit. He does a really good job. A really good job. Okay. So let's talk about Emma and Drew. Okay, Emma. So they did a fast dance, and the year that he was doing was, I don't know, it was the year that Property Brothers started. And he was talking about how he wanted to be an actor. He went to Vancouver to pursue acting, and he failed at it. And, I don't necessarily know if he failed at it. I mean, if you don't succeed, I don't necessarily think that means that you failed. It just means that you haven't been successful yet, right? So, I mean, and it was a little bit weird how in the dance, in the middle of the dance, his twin brother comes out, and then they do like a trio. And both of the judges, and all of the judges had to comment on that. They're like, okay, I love how you did a trio dance, okay. And second of all, isn't it a little early in the season to be trotting out your twin brother, right? But did Drew know that he was going to stay? No. And listen, if you think you're going to go, sometimes you got to pull out every stop, And so I give him credit for it at least, And his brother did a great job. Like, I thought it was another pro. Like, because I couldn't really tell that it was his brother. They don't look as much alike as they used to. But his brother was phenomenal. So I give him credit. I need to learn how to talk. Okay. Nikki Bella was her and Artem. Her most favorite year was this year. She had this injury. Injury is a common. It's a common theme, right? So her injury, she had this injury because she, she was in the wrestling ring and she hurt herself and it could have ended her career. And then she fought hard and she came back and, it was really sad. But I thought she did a really good job with her performance. I thought she did a great job. I think Artem did a good job. It was a nice, solid, strong performance from Nikki Bella. I thought it was a really good job. Okay, and then another person that got injured, obviously, was Victoria Arlen, obviously, because, she was in the Special Olympics, and now she's up and walking and fine. But, she talked about the year she decided, I'm not going to be in this fucking wheelchair anymore. I'm going to fucking walk, right? So, that was the first time I've said that, I think, so I'm not going to say that anymore. Right, I just don't like saying that. Okay, so, I thought she did fine. Everyone else was all moved by the story and all that stuff. But just in terms of the dancing, I still haven't been impressed. Now, listen, I'll be the first one to eat my words if next week her and Val come out and kick ass and I'm like, oh my God, she was so good, right? Because I have no personal investment in any of these couples at all. But I don't see it yet. I really don't. Sorry. Okay, so then the other one is Jordan Fisher. No, is it Jordan Fisher? Is that his name? Is it Jordan? I don't know. He's the kid that was in Hamilton. And that was his favorite year was when he was in Hamilton. But he was talking about how or maybe it wasn't his most favorite year, but he was talking, that wasn't his year. It was some year, it was in the 2000s. He was talking about how when he was adopted, because, you know, his mom was addicted to drugs, and so his grandparents decided they wanted him, that was really touching as well. But again, at that point in the night, because he was at the end, I was like, oh my God. So, I mean, you just get sick of crying, like, through the whole evening, right? I mean, you know. But then again, what do I know? I mean, hello, that trailer for that movie made me break down in hysterical fits of sobbing. Whatever. Anyways, I'm definitely looking forward to next week, Disney night. It's going to be so good. I'm so excited. So I want to say thank you so much for logging on today. I do appreciate it. Please feel free to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at Angel Benton. You can hashtag Dancing for Relevancy to talk Dancing for Relevancy, or you can also hashtag Below Deck to talk Below Deck. I'll be doing that next. And you can also hit that subscribe button on my YouTube channel to get my YouTube videos sent to your email inbox every single day. All right, everyone, have a wonderful day. Peace out. Wubba, wubba, wubba.